Martin.
Thank you very much, and thanks for the invite, and thanks for joining us today. So I'm Martin Sutherland. I'm the Chief Executive of Coventry City of Culture Trust. For those who are not aware, in 2017, Coventry was announced to be the next UK City of Culture. This is a designation that is awarded every 4 years by government following a very competitive process. The city was designated back in 2017, December 2017, that we would be the next UK City of Culture. Now, the title for City of Culture runs for 12 months, and Coventry was due to be the UK City of Culture from January 2021. This unlocks a £40 million programme, and indeed a further £100 million being invested into public realm and infrastructure. And of course, it provides an enormous opportunity to shift perceptions of the city, create new opportunities, provide platforms for the seldom heard, showcase green and digital innovation, and of course contribute towards the short-term and hopefully the longer-term prosperity of the city. During the year of 2020, I of course continued to lead the team to try and deliver plans for 2021 and critically looking at our longer-term legacy plans. Of course, all of that is all fine and academic, and then we hit a pandemic. And that the moment in lockdown essentially gave us a chance to pause, reflect, and say, well, actually, what is our purpose? And our purpose actually remained fixed. We absolutely remain focused on ensuring that 2021 makes this longer term impact, but an impact which straddles economic, social, well-being and health outcomes as well for the city and the region. But we also recognise that our colleagues across the cultural sector, the wider culture and creative industry sector, took an absolute battering, a battering greater than we did actually as an organisation. So the wider cultural sector, the freelancers who are so critical to the vitality of our sector, and indeed the wider hospitality and nightclub economy, basically stopped. So when the first lockdown happened, we had to take quick action, reimagining what we were going to be doing as part of that. But critically, we also wanted to say, well, how do we respond? How do we pivot to shore up the cultural sector that we are going to be so dependent on to deliver for 2021? So we developed small grant programs. We filled in some gaps where government funding was seriously lacking, particularly within freelancers, and actually still remains critically lacking in terms of support for freelancers. We created other grant funds. We moved some of our activity online. My team joined the National Freelance Task Force. We also joined the city's Operation Shield programme to basically working from home, to be part of a call centre to help the kind of most vulnerable in the city. And then we undertook scenario planning. Critically, that scenario planning was a way for us to identify the least bad option. An option that would allow us to deliver as many promises as possible that were made during the bidding process, but recognising that it is now impossible, or was looking to be impossible, that we could deliver mass participation, large-scale public events as was originally imagined. For our partners within the cultural sector, income had dried up overnight, and their ability to participate, absolutely was in doubt. And so again, our investment, our activities had to be focused on how do we boost them during this period. So a big bit of 2020 has been about how do we support local sector to be ready and able to participate in 2021. As well as confidence being challenged within the cultural sector, of course, the tourism and travel market just dried up, plummeted, and therefore confidence in coming to Coventry in 2021 has been massively impacted in this as well. The capital programmes, which you see huge amount of investment in public realm, in the arts infrastructure as well as travel infrastructure, all seized temporarily, pretty much now back on track, but all seized for a critical period of time, which meant actually the city was not going to be ready to welcome 2.5 million visitors in January 2021. And for me, most importantly, and most worryingly, all of our community engagement activity, which relies on us being in schools, in faith spaces, in shopping centres, in public spaces, in parks, working with our communities, all of that had to stop. Some of it shifted online, but moving it online does not replace the face-to-face interaction, the mass engagement that was so central to our success. So all of that was impacted by COVID. But overall, uncertainty prevails and continues to prevail in so many ways. But we got focused on scenario planning which gave us an opportunity to bring some certainty to our wider network, to our wider partners. And through that process, we reviewed our outcomes, our priorities, of course, our budgets, and indeed the capacity and capability of our partners to participate. And so we now have committed that we will still deliver 12 months of activity. That activity will start from May 2021. I absolutely would not be here if we were starting in 2 weeks' time. So I've been giving myself a little bit of grace, but we're definitely starting in May 2021. And so giving certainty. We know, though, that things will mean we have to continue to adapt, we'll continue to learn. And I guess one of the questions I was asked to reflect on today is, what have we learned during this period? And I guess what I've learned is that by being a values-led organisation, an organisation that is focused on being collaborative, being caring, being ambitious, and supporting activism, that has carried us through. That's allowed us to remain focused on the big picture. It's enabled us to remain focused on what our outcomes need to be from this. I guess what it has allowed us to do is to continue to build a team who are strongly focused on making long-term change. And that team are continuing to grow. That's one of the benefits of executive culture is during this year, despite all the challenges everyone else has been having, we've still been able to recruit. We've still been able to expand our teams, still being able to employ people from across the city and the region to join our team, to build towards a programme for 2021, which we hope will deliver so many of the promises that were made during the bidding process. But that's the next bit. I'm told to talk about kind of optimism, what comes next in our next section. So I'll leave you there just with a kind of thought that actually challenging year for us as an organisation, much more challenging for the wider culture and creative industry sector, and our responsibility to support them through this piece has become sharpened and actually becomes the focus of what happens beyond 2022. So I'll pause there for a moment.